بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قال الله تعالى: يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وكونوا مع الصادقين. صدق الله العظيم. Yesterday we spoke about the needs of the ruh, the needs of the soul, and we mentioned that there were three needs of the soul. One was mujāhadah, and mujāhadah, you can say, explanation of that basically was that through mujāhadah a person is able to acquire the food for the soul. Right? The food, the fuel that is needed for the soul, a person is able to acquire that. And second, we had mentioned, is to be consistent upon one's ma'amulat, one's prescribed practices, that gave the benefit of the medicine that was needed to balance the soul, to bring it back to a normal level. And the third thing that we mentioned that was needed was to adopt the company of one's spiritual mentor, one's shaykh, because that was just as important as visiting the doctor on a regular basis. So a little bit more explanation about these three today, inshallah. The first one that was mentioned was mujāhadah. Mujāhadah, what is the meaning of mujāhadah? Mujāhadah means to struggle, literally means to struggle, to exert oneself. And when we speak about mujāhadah in terms of a'mal, in terms of actions, in terms of deeds, it means that to exert oneself to do what needs to be done and to stay away from that what needs to be, what a person needs to stay away from. So in regards to mujāhadah, there's two levels. There's two levels of mujāhadah. What are the two levels? These are mentioned in a hadith al-Qudsi of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, where Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he says that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that ولا يزال وما تقرب إلي عبدي بشيء أحب إلي مما افترضت عليه, that my servant does not come closer to me through anything which is more beloved to me than that what I have made farad upon him. Meaning that when a person does the farad actions, and this is the minimum, the main requirement that we need to do. When a person carries out the faraid, the minimum of what they need to do, then this is that which is most beloved to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Meaning the faraid are those things that the person has to do. There's no compromise in that. Right? The salah and zakah and sawm, etc. So when a person does the faraid, he is doing that which is most beloved to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is the first level of mujāhadah, struggle. That a person does the minimum requirement, what is required from a person. Right? And this makes and this, by doing the fara'id, carrying out the fara'id, a person, he gains the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He gains the ishq of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you have the second level of mujāhadah, which comes after the first level. Right? First comes the first level, then the second level. What is the second level? It's mentioned in the next part of this hadith al-Qudsi, where Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam says that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that وَمَا يَزَالُ عَبْدِي يَتَقَرَّبُ إِلَيَّ بِالنَّوَافِلِ حَتَّى أُحِبَّهُ. And my servant continues to come closer to me through nawafil, through voluntary actions, until حَتَّى أُحِبَّهُ, until I have love for him, until he becomes my beloved. So through the first level of mujāhadah, carrying out the fara'id, a person is able to gain love for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? And that's a bare minimum. And through the second level, doing extra actions now. So now once a person is regular in the fara'id, now the next level is to start doing the sunan, the mustahabbat, the nawafil, the voluntary actions, right? That are not farad upon a person, but are still highly recommended. When a person does that, then he becomes a beloved of Allah, meaning Allah adopts love for that individual. So a person first becomes an ashiq of Allah, then he becomes a ma'ashuq of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? So these are the two levels of mujāhadah, two levels of struggle, which and they go in this order. Sometimes people, they focus on nawafil, but they forget about the fara'id. They're not carrying out the fara'id. Right? Or sometimes someone says, "Oh, it's hard for me to do nawafil. Right? I barely do the fara'id. So at least do the fara'id. Fara'id is a bare minimum. Do fara'id, inshallah, we will do what is obligatory upon us at least. Right? So we should never leave the fara'id. And so this is in regards to mujāhadah. And then obviously after a person does this mujāhadah and struggles, and obviously being consistent upon the fara'id, it may seem easy, but it is exactly what is called istiqamah. That consistently a person is consistent with the fara'id and does all the fara'id in the best possible manner. And this is where the struggle lies. That sometimes it's easy to do it for a short time, but then it's also very easy to slip up and miss it and not do it properly, right? So this is where the mujāhadah aspect comes in, the struggle aspect comes in, that a person struggles to do that. And then we have the other 2 points that we mentioned, which we can inshallah speak about in more detail next time, inshallah. The company of the shaykh, and then along that being regular in one's prescribed practices that the shaykh has given. So in regards to company of the shaykh, inshallah, we'll speak about next time. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us tawfiq.